Alright, Knights of Apollo, welcome back to the battlefield. Once again, we are playing Mustache Total War, aka Napoleon Total War 3, the mod for Napoleon Total War. It's an hyper-realistic mod, makes the battles very grand and epic. So we've got a classic matchup of the French Empire versus a coalition of nations, which includes two Russian armies, so lots of Russians here today. We've got the UK, Netherlands, and then finally, all the way on the flank here, we have the UK, Portugal. So we have some British Iberian and then British Dutch on the battlefield. So really quick, let me show you how this battle has started. We're actually like 10 minutes in. It hasn't started yet, but it's about to. As you can tell, the French forces are starting to square up against these British Dutch forces. You can see the Cav is kind of watching up on this hill. If I was the French, I would definitely try to gain control of this hill. Now we do have some artillery opening fire as well. The French artillery is firing down upon the British Portugal forces, going after their cavalry, which if they can wipe out a lot of cav, that's honestly going to do them wonders. Cav is so important in this game, especially in this mod compared to the vanilla, because a lot of units in this mod do not form square, or cannot form square, and if you get some good charges on them, it's going to be GG. It's going to be GG. So nice little pop shots there. The French are maneuvering some of their own cav as well. Look at that, just running through where the cannonball hit, where the smoke is still coming from the ground. They're just kind of surveying the battlefield, just, you know, mirroring their movement, making sure they don't get out of hand and get behind vulnerable units, I assume. And then if we head back over here, more and more cav are starting to consolidate, I guess, over on this hill, and you can see there's a ton of cav from both Russia and the British Dutch forces. A lot of hussars, a lot of heavy cav, lancers, everything, all kinds of cav. We do not discriminate. All cav welcome. Very cool. So yeah, they're just waiting, and this is the typical kind of play for this game, because you don't really see the enemy army until they get pretty close. It's that fog of war. So kind of running forward the cav, because they're fast moving, they're agile. You kind of use them as scouts, and just kind of, you can also use them to hold positions. If you got dragoons or whatever, you can run them up, hold positions. And notice how he's doing. Notice what he's doing here. He's rushed up some horse artillery. He's now going to move this artillery out of the way. He's got to be careful though, because this artillery could get charged, but it will be a pretty devastating maneuver for the British if they do make a frontal charge on that artillery, because the French are... Oh, there we go. Shots fired. Shots fired, and he's... Oh, is he going for the general? That sly dog. Looks like it. He could be going for the enemy artillery as well. They're just nearby the general. They killed one of the general's bodyguard. Poor guy. Just totally frog-legging it right now. But hold on. We do have a cav battle going on over on this side. The British went in with the charge, and the French overwhelmed them there. I don't know what the plan was there. Got the UK Portuguese kind of going in for a charge, and it just leads to disaster. And now the English Portuguese are starting to kind of regroup. It looks like they have another cav unit that was in the thick of the fight. Well, actually, no. This is a small unit. I mean, they did lose 2 men, but it is a small unit that is kind of surveying the battlefield. So, very back and forth, very touch and go between both these forces. And also, way over here, guys, way over here, there's a ton of reinforcements. And Russia, I'm not a fan of this formation. You got to try to get them into column formation. But he's got this huge, just like orc-like mass of troops making their way towards the front line. So we'll see how that progresses. Back over on this side, we've got more cav going at it from these two forces. And finally, the battle is starting to pick up, and it is getting pretty nasty. The line infantry is supporting from a distance, and dang it, guys, hold on. I forgot. turn on the sound. There we go. There we go. Okay. That kind of fixes the sound glitch, or at least it usually does. There we go. Fire. Whenever you're ready. Take your time. I'm just trying to check the sound. Yeah, you gotta, for some reason it never saves on that setting. And I always gotta make sure I gotta turn that on because the sound glitch will happen where you can't hear any of the gunfire. It's just like too much going on, so you gotta increase the sound channels or something like that. So back over to this front, a lot of the French forces have disappeared because it does appear that the Russians have backed down. They've kind of fallen back to their artillery, which is being protected by some line infantry in almost like a square formation, very thick square formation with double C thick. But yeah, the artillery is just kind of softening up the French. I think we do see some French infantry. Yes, we do. Finally, the French infantry have arrived, so they're going to post up on this hill. And this is a good defensive position. You got the hill, you got the house, the farmhouse. You can hold against a lot of enemy forces. And the French, I mean, I can imagine they're all based around here. I don't really see them right now, but this is a nice position here, you know, from a bird's eye view. The British Portuguese can easily get a flank going. Over on this front, the Russians and the British... Whoa, 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 what's going on here? Hold on, hold that thought. We've got a cav from the French making, it looks like Hussars, making a move to the back lines of the coalition force. The Russians, thankfully, have some dragoons here, dragoons of Kiev, kind of defending the rear of this army, and the Russians are now shifting over their infantry as well to protect their flank against the flanking French. But still, they're playing it slow here. They're playing it calm. The French are now backing away. They don't like the artillery, and that's a good play right there by the French. No need to stand at the very ridge of this hill, because what they're going to do is it's going to make it more difficult for these shots to land the French, to hit the French infantry, because these shots, I mean, see, like that, they're gonna hit the hill and they're gonna bounce over the infantry, just like that. Did you see that? Oh, except for that poor guy. It's not going to be perfect every time, but it's definitely better than just standing right at the ridge of the hill, where it's going to be easy for those cannonballs to hit. They're still going to fall back too. So, oh, we got French artillery opening fire as well. I think they're trying to shoot through the trees here, go after this cav force, which is a pretty juicy target, I must say. More Russian infantry making the move. Guys, I think we're about to witness a frontal hill assault by the Russians and the British Dutch. And this would also be a good time for this force to move forward as well. It's tough, though. It's tough to really see what's going on, as most of the French army is concealed by fog of war. We're starting to see more French infantry. You can see they're doing the classic kind of L-U-ish shape. It's not really an L. It's more of like a line around the building. They're just using the building here as kind of like a barrier. I'm sure they have some infantry in here, or they're going to put some infantry in here, which I don't see anything yet, but they could be hidden from the fog of war. So, oh, and then here's some French infantry over on this side as well. Oh my god, these absolute units. Look how thick these lines are. Absolutely massive force advancing forward towards... Well, they're actually falling back. They're disengaging. Nobody. It's just a battle of touch and go, I guess. I don't know. But let's see if we finally have forces that are going to stay in their ground and they're going to fight each other. If I'm the French, I would definitely hold my ground here, because you have the advantage of the terrain. You have the high ground. You have the hill. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of line infantry advancing forward against this French force. The French are now tightening up their lines. They're shifting a bit more towards the Russians, and it does appear that we are going to finally get our first little line engagement. Back over here, the French are shifting over to the right. Actually, they're shifting kind of back as well, which honestly, yeah, I would do that too. You want to avoid fighting here as long as possible and let your French forces over here take on these Russians by themselves. We also have Russians formed up over here, multiple lines, and then we have the rest of the French force forming up. So I do believe one French army is headed this way, but it's hard to tell because the Russians back here aren't really scouting, but they are correct in that they're setting up a line against this French cav. If I was the French over here, I'd just send my infantry down here and attack these Russians from the flank as they attack the hill, because this Russian army, we are seeing what they're seeing at this point in the battle, and all they see is cav. They might think there's an army here, and that's going to hold them up. So even if you just left 4 units of infantry just to make the Russians think you have an army here, and then you send everything else over to this Russian flank, and sure enough, here comes the French infantry from the tree line. They got their winter gear on because they're probably in Russia or something. I don't know. But here we go. First line battle underway as the French begin to pop some shots. Probably not landing a lot of shots because of the hill. Over here, it's definitely landing as both sides can easily see each other on this massive hill. So, yeah, there we go. There we go. They are fighting the good fight. And then back over this way, we do have a little bit of a skirmish going on. You got the Voltigeurs or something. Voltigeurs. Voltigeurs. The Flyers. But yeah, they are they're doing some teabagging, it looks like. But yeah, they're just kind of playing it slow over on this front. Oh, look at this though. The British Portuguese are putting some pressure on that hill defense. They are shifting over 4 units of, you got the 97th Queen's Own Germans, and then the 82nd Foot Prince of Wales Volunteers, the 2nd Warwickshire, and then we have the Berwickshire, whatever. I remember, oh, whoa, look at this, massive charge by the Russians. Sending in cav and infantry. The French are going to match their cav with their own cav, but it's too late. The infantry are cracking. They're going to need to send up more reinforcements. The Russians get dangerously close to the French lines. They're probably going to pop some very close shots right in the back of the French as they fall back and reorganize their lines. Now more Russians going in. We've got some Jaegers charging in melee mode. What in tarnation? Look at this mess of a fight. You got cav, infantry, all kinds of just units going at it. Over here, it's a little calmer. This is definitely where I would want to be fighting. It's like, this is heaven, and then over on this side, it's literally hell. Look at this. This is just madness. Look at all this cav charging in. Absolutely stunning shot here of all this cav with the building in the back. It looks fantastic. It looks cool as both parties, both sides, throw whatever they have into this mix. This battle went from a Napoleonic era battle to a medieval battle with all this close combat. And now buildings are being taken by the coalition. It does appear, look at this, it does appear that they have cleared the building over this side. And just in a matter of seconds, the Russians have just completely gained control on this front. But it's far from over, guys. The French, I'm sure, have reinforcements that they can send up here, and they are just going hard right now with all this infantry. The Russian cav still pushing back the French, as this is a battle that is in a small space, but a lot of troops just duking it out. The French have lost some ground, but they haven't lost the battle. And they're going to reform. The French cav falling back. They're going to rely on some artillery as well. Probably doing some canister shot. As the British are now pushing on the flank of this French defense, this hill defense. Look at that. Look at that. Bird's eye view. Battle unraveling. Back over this way. We do have... Okay, the French are kind of pushing a little bit on the flank of the Russians. We got a pretty big cav push by the French. And the Russians are going to hold their ground and pop some shots at that cav. This guy's getting... He's definitely talking some smack to him as he runs by. Oh, wait. No, that's a Russian. Okay. Just kidding. Why would he be talking smack to his own guys? Unless they're like, I don't know, little banter. Anyways, the French, this push here is not going well. The French have even fallen back over on this side because they are losing on this front. And once again, the Russians are going in with a massive charge of cavalry. Cavalry. And here we go. More counter-charging by the French, trying to slow down this infantry push. And then over on this front, we've got some French cav going in for a charge as well. This is getting very chaotic very quickly. It went from like, come on guys, do something, to, okay guys, slow down. This is getting a little too wild. I'm trying to keep up here with the commentary. You're making my job kind of difficult. Anyways, nice little French cav charge. The British do form square, but it's a little late, and now the French are going to follow up with some bayonets. They're going to charge in with the infantry, and now we got some cav pouring over as well. But you don't want to charge into a square formation, so they're going to run past them and go for the other unit that is not in square formation. But over here, look at this. Every time I look over here, the Russian flags get closer and closer. And the French are running out of support here. They're running out of men. Let's get a bird's eye view and see, like, what the heck's going on. So over here, the French, what exactly is going on? Okay, I see. So this is an interesting formation. He's got his artillery, lots of artillery, just popping shots at the French. You can see their angle here, just popping shots. Now, over on this side, he's relying on the line infantry to protect the rear of the artillery. We got 2 units of French forces. I don't think these guys are really going to do much but put pressure on the British. Got a decent French reserve here as well. But, my goodness. Dude, the cav charging never ends. Absolutely stunning charge by the coalition. But the French are not done yet. They're now shifted. Look at this. Look how they shifted their lines. And they're now... This might actually work out for the French. Even though it's been a rough start for them, they've been easily pushed off this hill. What the Russians have to be careful, and their allies, is that they don't want to overextend their men. They don't want to get them exhausted. And these French forces are fresh here. And in fact, he's just gonna run. Yeah, he's just gonna bayonet charge with one, and then he's gonna charge in another unit, and then he's gonna charge in the third unit. I like how he kind of did that all at different times. So the French are like, they're just going in. I honestly thought they would sit back and shoot a little bit, but maybe times are tough. You know, they don't have time. They got to get in there and start breaking back the Russians. Here comes a massive cav charge from the French, a counter charge. This is so cool. It's like, we're not done yet. Just going in, and they are charging into very tired Russian units. Oh, a death of a general. Hold on. Click on it, son of a gun. Where is this? Death of a general over here. That was a coalition general. What is he? How did he die over here? I'm not really too sure. But this is actually turning out pretty decent for the French, as they have formed a nice little L formation. Lots of Russians breaking, and now there's a huge gap in the line here where the French are going to take advantage and start pushing and putting down gunfire. And the French cav is now falling back as well, so they're able to survive that charge without breaking. Good for them. Good for them. Let's see what else is going on here. The French are pushing very aggressively over here. Wow, there's a big mess happening here. Really quick, let's go look what's happening over on this front. The French are pushing, and they are going to engage this Russian army, but I don't know. I feel like they're kind of outnumbered here, outmatched. If I'm the French, I would just, like, again, I wouldn't engage. Why engage? The Russians are just standing here. Just send extra troops over this way and help the French, your French allies, or the other French armies in taking back this hill. Look at all these fresh French troops. Where did they come from? Where did they go? Cotton Eye Etienne. I don't know. Thinking of Cotton Eye Joe. I was thinking of like a French name or something, but Cotton Eye, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, they're pushing forward. And the French are kind of falling back over here. And now you can see, finally, this makes sense here. What is happening here? You are about to get sideswiped. They see that. They're trying to reform. Oh, they're getting charged by Cav. This is not good. So this is pretty huge. This UK-Portugal army needs to clean up this flank. And you can see they're now shifting over because they have to. They have to. This entire force from the coalition is crumbling right now by this resilient French army that I guess most of these troops were just hanging back. Like, it is kind of weird, right? It looks like the French almost did this by design. To kind of like let the Russians and coalition forces get too comfortable and just charge in with way too many troops where they overextend. And then the French moved up their elite units and are just kind of cleaning up this disorganized Russian push. So this is well played by the French, and I think, guys, they're going to be able to turn this around. It's still a little too early to say because the big question mark is this army right here. What is going to happen with these British-Portuguese forces, Iberian force? And then over on this side, this is also a big question mark as well. As you can see, like, dude, France, what are you doing? You are going to get absolutely swallowed, okay? They're going to get destroyed. Oh boy, here we go. Charge in. Why are you charging? Oh boy. Oh, let's see if he can get there. Yeah, okay, so he's going to get there without taking a volley, so good for him. And they do get a good charge off, and they are breaking these guys, but I don't know. Like, yeah, this is the swinging door of death. The Russians have an entire line here that are not even being contested. And they're going to very easily just angle this way and fire at the flanks of this line infantry. I'm not sure what the French are doing, but honestly, guys, it's not too bad. But I don't think it's going to last for long. The Russians are coming to reinforce, to bolster up their front lines. They're going in for a charge against the French infantry. Absolutely beautiful charge. Beautiful. Well done there. And then back over on this front, look at the absolute carnage going on here. Lots of French Cavs still alive. The infantry coming back, baby. Look at these guys. Look how cool these uniforms are. The death heads. But yeah, the French are coming back and they want their hill back. This is our hill. And then back over on this side, yeah, the French are kind of maneuvering through the gap here. They're and then there's French Cav over here. Oh, they're coming to reinforce this French Cav unit that's getting chased down by the 1st Royal Dragoons. There it is. Oh, look at those Hussars move in. So fast. Absolutely terrifying to be charged by something like that. Very good play right there. Running down that Cav. And they're going to probably turn and start. Oh, look at this. The coalition is kind of turtling up here. They've lost the building. The building has exchanged hands like 3 times now. As the French, look at this, come knocking. Look at, there they are. They're just slicing up this unit. Look at, you can see the Cav running through the windows. So cool. So cool. A nice little charge. That's actually the British Cav trying to slow down the flanking French, which have now wrapped around completely around this building. We do have some British reserves coming in to try to stop that flank, but it's only 2 units, and I don't know if it's going to be enough. And the French are, wow, just coming in and cleaning up this massive mess. Oh, man. Even with the Cav support, they could not save their infantry against the Highland foot. The 79th Cameron Highland. Very cool. And then back over here, more French fighting off this Iberian British force. It does appear, it does appear, especially with the help of the artillery, that the French are going to win this. So, guys, what I think's what's going to happen here in this battle is that it's going to come down to the fight over on this front, which have taken a weird turn. It's literally, it's turned. This battle was being fought like this. Now the French are formed up like this. Wow, the French are doing better here than expected. I still think they're gonna lose because we do have some line infantry. I think they're just like holding back, defending this artillery because the French cav might still be lurking around. They do have, oh yeah, there they are. They're actually behind this Russian infantry. That's one thing the French have over the Russians is this cav force, so they can kind of, but they're just standing there getting shot. So thankfully he finally gets out of range. And the French over here, all they need to do at this point is just like try to stay alive and wait for their reinforcements. Keep these Russians busy so you can wait for your reinforcements, which are now claiming the hill, firing at the retreating British and coalition forces. Got a couple of units. Highland foot not going out without a fight, doing an epic last stand, and there they go, they finally break. And then over on this front, you can see that there's massive breakage going on here. Nothing that these guys can do. The artillery is just slamming these guys, and the artillery firing at them is not really helping. So oh, look at that. Look at that. Cannonball is just being shot. Absolutely devastating. Imagine getting hit by a cannonball. I mean, if you are to get hit by a cannonball, you only hope it just hits you in the head, you know? It's just like, it's quick, you know? If it goes for your limbs, like, oh, absolutely devastating. Tragic. You got more Highland foot just completely surrounded, going like old guard mode, like not surrendering. So they must have broken and came back because the player is probably unaware that they're looking the wrong way and just getting shot at the flank. So it's not much. Honestly, it's not like they could have done much anyways. At this point, if you are the coalition forces, what you want to do is kind of do what you're doing now, which is kind of just retreat and kite the French, because you want to stay alive and keep these French forces busy, so they can't go over and reinforce the other French army here, which is now falling back. I think that's a smart play, honestly. Here's a little French cav charge. I think the Russian infantry is going to be able to hold here. It's very close. Both sides very low on morale. Very low on morale. There goes the Highland foot. They're running. Yeah, the Russians break. Wow. But the cav break as well, so it's a bit of a tie there. And here comes more French cav charging in. Oh, those red hussars. These guys look awesome. I think they're hussars. I don't know. But they look really cool. They move really fast. Might be dragoons. They got their guns here. They look so sick, having their guns on the saddle there in the back. Absolutely cool. Man, what a time. What a freaking time in military history. In terms of aesthetic, holy moly. You know, I just recently saw a meme of like, it's like today. It's like, you know, the guy looking sad. He's like wearing generic camo, you know, and then back then it shows all these vibrant colors and epic uniforms, you know, which obviously you understand why you can't do that anymore. It's just the warfare has drastically changed. But my God, everybody was so dapper back then, you know, like look at, oh God, like that's just such a flex, like having your army just look like they're all just like gentlemen. What a time. What a time. The Russians are falling back now. Look at this. They stopped the pursuit of the French. And I think it's because more and more French cav is arriving on the flank. It's causing some issues. And the Russians, I think they see the writing on the wall. They're going to fall back to the hill here and probably use their artillery as a defensive position to try to take on the hordes of French that are going to be chasing them down. You can see the French are still fighting some forces here. Still fighting the good fight. But, yeah. I don't know if it's gonna lead. Let's see, what is it gonna lead to? Okay, oh, they're just gonna put up an epic stand here. Hold men for the brown nosy. For our fish and chips. Fish and chips. There we go. Sorry. Sorry if you're British. Here, I'll make fun of the French too. Like, stinky cheese. Yeah, there you go. Keeping it fair. Keeping it fair. But yeah, the French are pursuing. They've got the Russians on the run. And quite frankly, these French forces moving up here. We'll go ahead and just kind of fast forward here and wait for these Russians to form up and kind of watch the final stand here and see if the Russians can pull this off. All right, guys, so I believe the Russians, like I said, they're going to fall back to their artillery and kind of form a line. That's honestly their best plan of action at this point. Artillery can be very helpful in just shattering larger armies, you know. Oh, no! Oh, the French have cut down the British general. But he didn't really have an army anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. Huge French cav charge. The Cuirassier. They're charging in. Trying to put some pressure on the Russian flank. That's the problem with this Russian army, is that they have no cav. So it's really tough for them to defend. They're doing a good job, though. They've used some infantry to protect their artillery. Just keep the artillery alive. And you can see that the French really wanted to take out that artillery, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Over on this side, the French are popping some shots. Silent. Oh, they put on their silencers. I mean, wow, the silencers are so silent. I don't know. It's just the sound in Napoleon. It's so funky. The French have formed artillery on the flank. That's actually a really good spot. And that's just going to cause mass damage just like that. My goodness. Ripping holes in these lines. And all the Russians can think about is snow and vodka. I don't know. What do Russians think about? Vodka, potatoes? No. Snow being the weather being their best general. Alright, so they're just opening fire, and I think this is going to be basically the Hail Mary for Russia. They're going to push for another death of a general there for the coalition. They're going to push forward, and I mean, it's really killing me that we can't hear any of these shots. You know, it's like, what is happening? Kind of kills the atmospheric sound. But the French are just, they're moving over the swinging door of death. Flanking all of their troops around this side. The Russian artillery is going to, like, put up its final stand. And use canister shot, most likely. And the French, oh, let's see. Oh, baby. That was disgusting. For the French cav, they've still got the stomach to charge this artillery. Just kidding, they broke. That's, oh man, the French need to hurry up. This is actually a hell of a stand by the Russians. I don't think they're gonna win, but this has been a lot of fun to kind of, they gotta rush this infantry in there quick. Oh, I think they're gonna do it. Yeah, they're still priming it, whatever. Yeah, they're gonna charge in there. That's gonna break that artillery. Woo! Good last little shot there, though. That was awesome. And there we go. The French have completely surrounded the Russian forces. We can go ahead and fast forward here. I think it's safe to say, well, the Russians are kind of breaking the French here, but even so, they're putting up a hell of a stand. I respect it, but unfortunately for the Russians, it is going to be a defeat for Russia and its coalition forces. And the French have won. So, key moment of this battle, I would say, is at the hill. Bloodiest battle I think I've ever seen in one area. You know, like, just look at this. The carnage. This is where all the magic happened. And the French, almost like a little bit of William the Conqueror move there. Look at this guy just standing. He's like, let's see, he looks like a Russian. So he's, or is he French? He's like Russian. So he's like, Ivan, where are you? Over here. You know, missing a leg or something. But yeah, yeah. The French did a little William the Conqueror, like feinted a retreat, just surrounded a chaotic Russian army that was out of order. out of order, out of line, literally, and they crushed them. They crushed them, man. So that was it was a very back and forth battle for sure. Really fun to watch, and now we're just gonna witness the French kind of clean up here, and that's gonna be the battle, guys. And here are the results. So this is sent in by Piper. He sent it into my Discord. Just want to give a little shout out to my Discord. Join the Discord. It's linked in the video. Also, become a Discord member. It's much better than being a YouTube member because, well, it's pretty much the same, but Discord only takes 10%, where YouTube takes 30%, so it helps me more. So definitely consider being a Discord member for sure. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this battle. It was a lot of fun, very chaotic, very back and forth. Thanks again to Piper for sending in this battle replay, and I'll have more in the future, so don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on the battlefield.